The male recipient of this year's BGO Champion Award, a truly inspirational story from Woodford County, Adam Bender. Adam's the son of Chris and Michelle Bender. As a junior on the Woodford County wrestling team, 3-time state wrestling place winner. He's done it as a freshman and a sophomore and as a junior. An incredible story that sadly I had forgotten about, because the first time that many of us saw his story was almost a decade ago. And then it was like, yes, now I remember. Adam has had numerous challenges to overcome, but the way he went about it, you'd never know it. A young man who learned at an early age that he would have to work much harder than others to accomplish goals in sport, in life for that matter. His coach Rusty Park says this about Adam. Adam has overcome a ton of expectation. He is one of the best athletes I've ever seen. He constantly has a positive attitude, hard-working young man. Adam has a wonderful outlook on life and is extremely driven towards being successful. After you see this video, there is no doubt one of the most successful young men, not just in this room, not in this state, but in this country. The story of Adam Bender does not start in elementary, middle, or high school. Athletes at some point in their lives overcome an injury, a setback, or a disadvantage. But what if your perceived impediment is the only thing you have ever known? So it is with Adam Bender.
When he was born, I noticed that there was something wrong with his leg. As soon as the doctor held him up, after I had a C-section, so as soon as he held him up, I noticed that his left leg looked a little bit, what I would call deformed. It was really thick at the thigh, and his foot was really blue. But when they brought him to me, I felt a lump in his leg. And when I asked the doctor about it, he said, oh, it's probably just a muscle spasm, so we kind of let that go for a day or two. But I just had an uneasy feeling about it.
A mother's intuition is usually right, and Michelle's initial gut feeling was accurate. 6 weeks later, that lump was actually cancer, and it was malignant. For the next year, Adam went through chemotherapy, but nothing worked.
And then it wasn't shrinking at all. Matter of fact, it was actually growing, so the only choice we really had was to risk his life or, have his leg amputated. So we had to make that decision 4 days after his first birthday.
It's new frontier. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what. It's not an experience that you can relate to. You can't put yourself in that person's shoes. You don't know what you're going to be able to do and not do on a daily basis. What aspects of the it's you're trying to look forward, and it's a very hazy picture.
Of course, we were very devastated to find out when you first see your child without a leg. And he said, my money's on Adam. He said, I'd start saving for his college if I were you. So that made us feel a lot better.
As Adam got older, sports became intriguing. How would he play? What would he play? It didn't take long to realize Adam Bender was extraordinary.
I didn't have any worries about him participating. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Everything that we always asked ourselves was, well, if that's what he's going to choose to participate in, how do we make that work? With baseball, it was, what does his swing look like? How does he get to first? Does he use his crutches? Does he not use his crutches? How does he run the bases once he gets there? What position does he play? So it was all about trying to help, and what we realized is that he was the one that would best be able to solve the puzzle.
Still, there were detractors.
The hurdles we had were other people trying to hold us back. Oh, he can't do that, or he can't play on the same field as people with 2 legs. He needs to go to the Miracle League, or he needs to try this, or he needs to try that.
But when he was on the fields of play, Adam was a sensation. In soccer, he led his team in scoring. Baseball, he had as pretty a swing as you will ever see. He even played quarterback in football. Eventually, a new challenge awaited: wrestling.
And I was like, oh no, nothing else, please. And that made me the most nervous, I think, because, all I pictured growing up was the WWE with people jumping off, choking each other and hitting them with chairs. I didn't really know much about it.
Adam's father had wrestled, but
I'm kind of sorry to say, I never thought about it for him as a sport. I never even considered it.
what no one knew was Adam would take to wrestling like nobody could have imagined. How could a person with one leg do what he could do on the mat?
But soon I saw that that was probably the most even playing field for him, because when you're 56 pounds, the other guy's 56 pounds too.
He's actually had two advantages. One is his upper body strength.
And Adam had huge upper body strength from walking on crutches, so he actually had a little bit of an advantage at that younger age.
The other advantage that he had is that we had a trailblazer with Anthony Robles, who was a wrestler at Arizona State and was in the same physical situation. And he was a talented enough guy that he won the national championship at Division I, which is just incredible. He's the guy that had to figure out how to wrestle with one leg. And what we had to do is interpret his video and his film and figure out how to teach Adam to do the same things.
Adam has won a great deal of matches, and spectators are still in awe of what he has been able to accomplish.
It was that way in the state during middle school until everybody got to know him. And then they spent less time being impressed and more time working on how do we defeat his strengths so we get the win.
As a freshman and sophomore, Adam placed 4th in the 106-pound class. Last year as a junior, Adam climbed to 3rd in the 113-pound weight class, and he is on the verge of doing what no one could have imagined 17 years ago.
If a person with a, quote, disability wants to do something, they will find a way to do it. He has found quite a bit of success, and he really wants that state championship, but if he gets it, he gets it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. In my eyes, he's a champ.
And a night to recognize champions. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam Bender.
All right, first off, I'd like to thank the Bluegrass Orthopedics and all the people who worked so hard to put this together for us tonight. I'm honored to receive this award. Overcoming obstacles in life is something we all have to do. Each athlete in this room has overcome something in order to contribute to sports. Some people's obstacles are more obvious than others, but it doesn't make the challenges the others face less important. Breaking down barriers is a personal challenge, and in order to get past the obstacles, you have to focus on the things that you can do instead of the things that you can't do. Many of us had help in achieving our goals and overcoming our obstacles, and these people deserve our thanks and appreciation. And for that, I'd like to thank my coaches for pushing me hard in the room. They made me a better man on and off the mat. My teammates at Woodford for accepting me and pushing me to be the best person I can be. And if it ever got tough in the wrestling room, we always had each other's backs. My sister Morgan and my brother Steven for supporting me in everything that I've done, and most importantly, my parents for driving me back and forth between Woodford and Lexington. That's a long haul, and for just supporting me through everything I've gone through and helping me achieve my dreams. Thank you.